Hi. The New York City Council has passed legislation aimed at reforming the New York Police Department by making it easier to sue police officers. The Democrat-controlled council on Thursday voted to remove qualified immunity for the New York City Police Department. Qualified immunity is a doctrine that shields government officials from claims for money damages, as long as the officials do not violate or clearly violate established law or act against citizens outside their authority. The U.S. Supreme Court has described the doctrine as incredibly strong, protecting all but the plainly incompetent or those who knowingly violate the law. Those on the left, Democrats, describe qualified immunity as closing the courthouse doors to plaintiffs whose rights have been violated. New York City Democrats have wanted for a long time to do away with the doctrine of qualified immunity for police, but not for other Democrat government officials. Again, the U.S. Supreme Court has repeatedly explained that qualified immunity must be as powerful as it is in order to protect government officials, including the police, from burdens associated with participating in discovery and trial. In particular, the Supreme Court seeks to balance two important interests: the need to hold public officials accountable when they exercise power irresponsibly, and the need to shield officials from harassment, distraction, and liability when they perform their duties reasonably. The U.S. Supreme Court has repeatedly stated that financial liability is one of the burdens qualified immunity is intended to protect against. Most police officers cannot afford to hire lawyers for the high number of frivolous lawsuits that they will now be facing in the future. Most police cannot afford to buy police professional liability insurance, something similar to the malpractice insurance that physicians must buy to protect themselves. New York City will probably not be supplying the police with this type of insurance. These are heavy financial burdens being placed on the police. The newly passed New York City legislation allows victims of alleged police misconduct in New York City to bypass qualified immunity standards needed to bring a case. Therefore, more lawsuits will magically appear. The fallout of this legislation will be to see a significant number of New York City police officers leave the New York City police force. The exposure to this much potential liability, particularly in today's anti-police climate, makes it impossible for the average policeman to continue to protect and serve. This is just another way to reduce the number of police in New York City, another route to defund the police. Now, there are many cities and towns throughout the country that will now be actively recruiting these well-trained New York City policemen and women. And these men and women will now be anxious to find another home. The result is going to be fewer police and more crime and mayhem in New York City. That will certainly accelerate the continuing demise of the city. This move cements the city's demise. Democrats are motivated by false ideology and do not care about the safety and security of the New York City citizens. Well, I hope this helps. Have a good day.
Thank you.